Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Lars, firstly, thank you so much for agreeing to give us some of your time. I know you've had a crazy few weeks.
We had some very restful weeks, like no training at all, not that much flying, but a lot of work to do and a lot of yeah people. Congratulations and um, media uh, requests and stuff. So it was a special time, but um, it was interesting.
Have you recovered? Has your body recovered yet? I know it's brutal that the time out there.
Yes, I'm well recovered. It was to be honest, it was not that brutal because the weather was very good. So we had only one day, which was really hard on the road. And luckily, I didn't had any blessers or injuries or stuff. Just everything went well. So um, I just slept 2 days more or less the whole day after the competition, and then I was quite recovered.
Okay. Lars, if I look at your CV, I mean, there were people that say, well, it was his first X-Alps, but if you look at your CV, it was very clear that you were going to be good. I mean, you were on the support team for Kriegel 2 years ago. You've done 250-kilometer flights. I think you've done five over 250 kilometers. Last year you're the Swiss hike and fly champion. You've done all the 44 4,000-meter peaks in Switzerland. So you've got a strong background. You can't be surprised. You obviously did. You go to the X Alps knowing I'm going to be at the sharp end at the front?
No, not that in the front. I know that if everything is like working normal, or I can finish in the first 10, and that was also the goal. And I knew that if everything is working very well, if I have a lot of time, more luck than the others, I can finish like top five. But I didn't expect to end up on the podium. That was over my expectations.
Okay. And did you have a plan when you went to the X Alps? Did you have a specific idea in your mind? This is how I'm going to race. This is how I'm going to tackle each turn point. Or was your plan always just to fly day by day and see how the race evolved?
Yes, it was fly day by day because it's so hard to plan in advance with all these turn points.
Yeah.
So we just checked out for every turn point where there is a good takeoff to get in the air again in the morning, in the evening. Um, but it was just taking it day by day and just focus on flying. Really um, try to take every day as a cross country day and not as a hike and fly day, and then you are doing quite good. That was our plan.
And did you and Kriegel speak much at all? Was there any communication? Because I know you're good friends. Was there communication during the race where you would discuss, or he would say, listen, come with me this way, or was that not going to be happening?
No, this was not gonna be happening. We talked and we discussed before the race about interesting parts of the route where it's gonna be tricky and what do you think which route you're gonna take there with this airspace and stuff. But when the race started, um, I never discussed with him something because we were never together on a ascent. So yeah, maybe once with Patrick we were hiking up together and we were discussing what's going to happen, but only if you are really just walking side by side and you're good friends, you do this. Otherwise, you uh, don't say anything
Yeah.
about your.
Okay. Lars, I need to ask you that day, that period with the bad winds, with the firn winds, where there was a lot of very crazy conditions, and obviously the withdrawal of Max Pino. Tell me about your views on that over that time. What you thought of those conditions, and what do you feel the future should be? How should that be tackled in the future? It's obviously been talked about a lot.
Yeah, that day was the forecasted to have quite strong north föhn, So I started quite pessimistic and thought it's going to be hiking a lot on the road. But then the first part of the Dolomites was very beautiful to fly. We just did a couple of hike and flies in the morning, and then we started thermal flying. And there was just a little bit north wind, but very good handleable. And then in the first crossing of the Isaac Valley, that's between Bozen and Brenner Pass, we could feel, oh yeah, there is now strong north wind, but was still no problem. We could climb up again. And then the next valley crossing, it's the Sarntal. There we had really strong north wind, like 50 k's an hour. But we were super high and we could still manage it very well. And it went, first time it went really tricky was when we had to land in Merano 2000 to tag the Via Ferrata and the turn point there. And that was a very tricky landing, very demanding, with like landing backwards in the uneven terrain. And then the takeoff was also difficult, but quite good, handleable. And then we had to go land down in Schenna to sign the next signboard. And that was also a very tricky landing, just take off and then flying down in the north and hitting a small landing area. And then it was once again tricky when we had to hike up somewhere again. And you may saw those videos where the people were and I had another takeoff where it was calm and I could fly towards this side where everyone was soaring up. And so this one was, for me, it was fine. But what I want to say is, like, if you have the free choice in these conditions, you can handle it quite safe. You can stay high, you can choose big landing options, and if you feel I want to land and go on the road, you can do this. But if we have those turn points like Merano 2000, we are forced to land in those very strong conditions, and we are forced to retake off again, because if you walk down from Merano to Schenna, you will lose 3 hours or 2, and then we were forced to search for a retake off location, and so we were like 3 times. We had tricky situations just because of this turn point, Merano 2000. Yeah. And so as an approach for the future, if they don't want us to land, like to have those tricky situations, they should either do a flight ban for the whole day, but that quite sucks. Okay. Or they should remove the turn points early enough and say, no, it's too dangerous to land in Merano 2000. Just look, we skipped the Via Ferrata, just look for a good landing field somewhere close to Meran in a big field, and then maybe go to Schenna and sign. And so that would made it a lot safer.
Okay, that makes sense. For us, the most exciting point of the race, we've got to talk about that turn point 14. That was where things really started to boil for the spectators, when obviously Aaron arriving there at the Zugspitze Arena, and you guys were so close. He got up, he then decided to stay north of the airspace, and you guys, the 3 of you, yourself, Kriegel and Simon Oberhammer, went south. I mean, talk me through what your head process was in that time. Were you considering to go with Aaron? Did you think Aaron had made a mistake? The 3 of you stuck together. What were you thinking at that stage?
It was really the most interesting moment of the race. I studied both options before the race. I invested quite a lot of time. I asked locals, and then I saw Aaron going on the northern route, but the southern route looked so promising with a cloud base of 4,000 meters and slightly west wind, and we were on the perfect time of the day when the west faces starts to work. And then Kriegel went into the turn point and straight away 180-degree turn towards the south route. I was thinking 10 seconds. Northern route is shorter, but the chance to get stuck somewhere to hike up again is quite high. And the southern route looks just amazing. So I was quite sure to finish the race by flying when I take the southern route. And I thought the chance is big to bomb out on the northern one.
Yeah.
If we can fly, 3 of us, we can fly very fast, and we will maybe even be faster than on the northern route. So the risk was way smaller on the southern one.
Okay.
And it worked out exactly as we thought. It was beautiful for flying, very fast conditions. We flew like a 34 average over those 180 kilometers. But it was 30 kilometers longer than the northern route. And Aaron, he was doing super nice, and he could avoid all the tricky parts and could make everything in flying. And so he was, in the end, it was just one thermal. He was in front of us.
Okay. And what a spectacular finish it was. Can you describe when you've got to Schmittenhoer and the landing, the signing of the last board, the feelings, the emotions? Was it very strong? The emotions must have been very strong for you.
Yes, the emotions were very strong, or at least on the landing on the float when I meet the team again. But also on Schmittenhoer, it was just such a weight was falling down from the shoulders just to finish the race by not walking anymore. And in this super strong field of athletes, I could stay in the front and didn't do a mistake. Like, there was always a bit the fear of doing one stupid mistake just on the short before the goal, and then yes, but it was, everything went through, and I was so happy to reach the goal. But the emotions, they came on the float down in Sellamsee when I met the team again.
Great. And last question for you, Lars. What is we know the next X-Alps, Red Bull X-Alps, 2 years away. Are you going to be back to have another crack? Because a lot of people are saying you are the future of the race. And what are your plans between now and the next X-Alps? And will you be back in 2027?
Yeah, I'm figuring out right now how I should plan it. I'm pretty sure I will be back. So it was a super good time. It was an amazing race, and it's just my fascination, my passion to race those races. And so I'm figuring out how much I want to work and how much I want to be a professional paragliding athlete, and how many sponsors I'm gonna look for. So I haven't figured out. Like, Kriegel is full-time athlete, and Aaron as well, and most of the others, they do like a mix. And I will also do sort of a mix, so I like to work, but I'm like 99% sure that I will be back in 2 years. Great. But like how I will prepare or stuff, I just I'm figuring out right now.
It would be great to have you over here for a short break in our summer.
Yes, this chance is quite high. I was already there 3 times. I love it to fly in South Africa. I have a friend who's got a house in the wilderness. I sometimes visit him, and we fly in wilderness, Porterville, and the chance is high that you will see me in South Africa.
It'd be nice to meet you when you're down again. And Lars, once again, well done, brilliant effort, and thank you so much for giving us some of your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your interest in the stuff, and thanks for the interview.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest. Cheers,
Bye,
Lars.
Jeff.
Bye.